Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. Hey, we've got some important things to talk about. This is commentary, and we're going to talk about votes, and we're going to talk about Black history. And not Black History Month, but we're going to have something on here about Black history because really, we got a book here, 400 Years of Trumpet Triumph, Courage, and Excellency. And I'll be giving sections out of this book about Black history for the rest of the year. And the other thing, oh my, this is something that I really, really enjoy talking about, and that's voting. I don't know what any of you, you have a training class for youngsters in voting prior to them getting into voting age. And I'm not talking about setting it up in school. I'm talking about you parents out there. Make the kids understand how important voting is. But because voting is something, it's not just for the president. Most people, they come out for the big election, but the election that really, really touches you and your pocketbook or the local election, yes, in the towns, the county, and the state. Those are the ones that really, really dig into your pocketbook, for picking up the garbage, they raise it for real estate, for all of those things. That's done on a local level. And those are the people you should be doing your homework on. When they, maybe you've never seen them before, you saw their names, but you have to do your homework. That's my theme. My theme is before you vote, do your homework. Don't let John Jones down the street or either Mary at work decide who you going to vote for because you have different goals in life of what you want to do. And you want to know if the individual that you're going to vote for, well, going to carry some of them out or think a little bit like you. I mean, you don't get in a block. You get involved with yourself. And hey, I'd like to have someone just give me a call about this setting things up for youngsters to voting. Prince George County has a vote coming up by the 26th of April. Now, what's happening with that? That is going to determine your next leader as far as the council is concerned, as far as the different county council, the different people that are going to be out there. But the 26th, you're going to be talking about the Senate of these United States coming from Prince George County. And there's a special person that's never been in that position. You need to get the information. But what I want you to do is give me a call because this vote that's coming up the 26th, hey, they've changed the rules. Hey, they do it all the time. They change your polling place. They change different things. The way you vote, maybe they change the door you come in, or either maybe the place that you go in. So I don't think you should take this lightly. I think the youngsters should be heavily involved in any election, especially the local election. Do you realize in the last election, a few of the counties around here, there was one county, 62% of the people didn't vote. And that was for a statewide election. Can you imagine 62% of the people not caring whether their taxes go up or the trash goes out or the different things? What's going to happen? What we have to start doing, we have to start educating the youngsters. Yeah, you say, hey, they can't vote. It's too early. He's only 15. He's only 14. Take the youngsters to the polls with you. Show them, what's going on. Before you take them, you make sure you get this brochure here, especially in Prince George County, of the new way of voting. Yes, they got a new way of voting. You didn't know that, did you? Well, they do. And they have this pamphlet out, and this pamphlet says Prince George's County, the new way of voting. And every county, every state out there has something like this. The changes are made. Hey, you didn't know they made the changes. Were you involved in the changes that were made in the voting? I don't think so. But that's what happened all over this country. They change the states have different voting rules. They have different time, different qualifications than the federal. When the federal, I mean, you figured I vote for the president, I got it made. This is the end. He'll straighten out everything. You got a terrific example of how the federal voting will straighten out everything. We had a Congress there that's in office right now that didn't do their job. They decided they were on doing no voting, you know. And I mean, these are people, these congressmen, senators, these are people that you put in. Yes, you. And you say, well, I didn't vote. And that's even more your problem. You didn't vote because those individuals are going to decide how much money you take out of your pockets and how much money they're going to keep and what they're going to do with the money. Well, that's where homework goes. Most people don't do homework on vote. They ask Susie May or some of the other people that they associate with, well, I don't like the way he parts his hair, or I don't like women, I don't like minorities, or whatever their reasoning. They have a reason, and they try to persuade you. But don't let that happen. What you have to do, just like you make sure that you go to work 9 to 5, you pay your bills, and you're a good citizen, do the same thing as far as candidates are concerned. Don't believe the garbage that they pass out, because naturally, if I want to be your representative, I'm not putting out any negative things on me. Oh, no. Everything I put out, I'm going to make sure is positive. And in every area I go in, religiously or ethically, I'm going to make sure that I say, hey, this group over here, they need this and they need this. So when I go over to that civic association, say, what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about what they need, not what I can do about their needs. I'll just talk about their needs. The most important thing to me is to get their vote. Because after I get their vote, hey, this later, I got 4 years, you know. Some people have more than 4 years. They sing the same song. They sing the same song year after year. Some of them been in there 20, 25 years. Those individuals feel that they earn the job, you know, no matter what they do. They earn the job, so they should be in there because they have the best organization. They don't think about you. You're the guy that when they sit and make a decision for those higher taxes, they sit and make decisions about other things that you have to pay. You know, taxes on certain things, certain areas, they allow certain things that you don't like. Maybe you don't like gun control. Okay, well, this group over here like gun control. Okay, maybe you don't like certain things. Well, when you decide who you're going to vote for, you have to make sure he represents you, not your group, you know, you, because your group may not be affected by his or her decision. So you have to be very, very careful about who you vote for. You know, how many of you have done your homework? Oh, I see. Not many, because you rely on the press. If the press is guy with the most press, I see his face, that's the guy I'm going to vote for. You know, although there's some things he voted for in the past I don't agree with. So what am I going to do? I'm going to not vote for. How many times you going to find anyone out there that you like everything that they represent? Not many. I don't think there's any gods out there. And you're not anyone, everyone that runs is not going to be the type of person that you want. So you have to pick and choose. What's more important to you? Education. What's more important to you? Helping people that are down and out. What's important for you? Real estate tax going up. What's important to you? Hey, Social Security. A lot of people say, hey, when they first started Social Security, that's the greatest thing happening. So what happened is individuals now, these are your individuals that you put in office, they decided, hey, we need money for this project, or we need money for that project. And what do? They say, hey, we got some funds over in Social Security, we're going to take some of those. So that's what they did. Wait, 10, 15, 20 years, after that, the people kept shoveling the money in, and what do? Your elected body decided, hey, we're going to use that Social Security. Anytime they put money into the general fund, it's gone, baby. You can believe that. We had that happen with your gambling. They told the people, say, hey, we're going to put the $50 million, we're going to give it all to education. But what the industry did? They put the $50 million in the general fund. And okay, so what happened? In the general fund, you get some of the people you elected, you get new people in different positions on the state and the local level, county or city, and they say, hey, look, we need this project. This project is most important to us. So they say, well, we need X number of dollars. Say, hey, where are we going to get it from? Oh, we're going to get that from the people. And the same thing happened in the banking industry all over this country. What happened? Individuals lost their homes and everything else because they allowed the bankers, to tell you, hey, you can afford that $2 million house, say all you have to do is just give us $300 a month, okay, and for 6 months, then the 6 months come and you get this $2,000 house note. You say, I can't do that. That's what happened, is the bankers did it to you. And those were bankers or individuals that politicians put in office. So you have to make sure the individual, how he stands with things that affect you. And those things affect you. The housing is one, and jobs. Don't think about jobs. All these jobs say, well, what are we going to do? So we have 5 degrees, but we don't have a job. You know what I mean? So what is the politician promising you? He's promising you, he said, I'll do this, I'll do this. What you have to do is beholden that you go out and do some homework. I don't mean get on the phone and ask Josephine or get on the phone and ask Mac. I mean go out and do some research on the persons that's going to represent you, because you cannot, and with the bankers is a good example. They took your money and my money, and what did they decide to do? They said, we're going to bail out the bankers. People said, bail out the bankers. They control the money anyway. They said, yes, that's what we're going to do, bail out the bankers. So the government bailed out the bankers. And guess what? The bankers, they smiled going to the bank, because not only were they bailed out, they received a bonus for doing a lousy job, I say, as far as the individuals that lost their homes because of the type of individuals that were placed in all of these positions that you look at concerning money. They involve politicians also. And the way the individual, everybody has a way of solving the problems. And a lot of people solve the problem out of your pocketbook. You know what I mean? That's that's what happens many, many times. Say, we're going to solve this problem by raising the taxes, or we're going to. The other thing too is that they say, well, you know, this is you should run for election and everything. And well, here in these United States, we have term limitations on the president of the United States. I said the president of the United States. I think you know that. And what happens? You have on the county and the state and the city level, you have individuals. Hey, what are they doing? Individuals bring up bills to extend their term. Hey, what about this redistricting? A lot of people talking about that now. You know, is that it's just like the Fox Gardner hen house. I think that's the term. Is that these guys redistrict their own district, so you know, whether it's for economics, whether it's a racial thing or whatever, for their own benefit. Those are things that are important to you and your children. Don't forget that, because they are the future. And you term limitation, some of you are pros and cons against it. But hey, when you look at it, if people in the United States felt that the president of the United States should have term limitation, what do you think about the local elections? What do you think about the local people? The people that these people, the local people, are the ones that send you the tax bill. They're the ones that raise your rent if you're renting. They're the ones that decide to put a glue factory next to your house. All of these things, you have to find out about that individual. And nobody is going to tell you anything negative if they're running for office. Have you found anyone that stresses the negativeness of decisions that they have made in the past? Oh, no. The only thing that you hear from a candidate is the positive thing. So that means you have to do your homework. And then the other thing that happens is that you have to educate your children to do their homework. And you have to take time to educate them about the democratic system. When the democratic system, when it works and it's done right, it works properly. But those are things, if you don't do your homework, you can do it. What about economics? You know, most people think, hey, democratic society, I have a shot at everything fairly, you know. I'm going to be based on my ability, and that's it. Well, economically, why are there poor people? And why are they? You got 3% of the population control most of the money. 3% of the population control most of the money. Have you thought about that? The fact when you get your pay, where are you? Are you in the middle class? Are you in the poor class? Are you in the rich class? What is middle class? I don't know. People have different they have different definitions of middle class. But the idea, am I going to get an equal opportunity for a position that I qualify for? You know, they say I spent X number of dollars in school, my parents, grandparents, and everything, and I'm wondering, you know, why is it that we have at this time we have individuals that have 2 and 3 degrees, but there's no job for the youngsters. No jobs for the youngsters. Who's in our political system working on providing equal, I forgot that part, equal job opportunity for everybody? That's one thing that we have to think about. And all of that, every minute of it, depends on you. Depends on you doing your homework and really giving your children an education of voting. So that's why the voting, I was disappointed, and a lot of other people were disappointed at the fact that imagine in a society where 62% of the people don't vote. And then they wonder why education is great, but they don't have anyone watching the hen house, like certain education deals, where the budget, I would say over 70% of the budget, there's no audit on it, Say, hey, what will you spend this for? Oh, that's for education. Sure. I mean, education. The fact is, you have to go, and most of you don't want to do that. Oh, go to a meeting? I don't want to go to a meeting. I'm tired of the meetings, And, but that's where you get financial reports. When you do that, that makes you an educated voter. When anything that they're doing, anything, any project, anything, you get a financial report. And who's going to benefit from this project? Is it going to benefit me, or is it going to benefit the 3% people who owns that? I mean, who owns most of the money in the country? That's who is going to benefit, or is going to benefit the masses? Most of the time, it benefits. That's why you have zillionaires. Most of the time, it benefits the 3%. Guaranteed. Check it out. If you don't believe me, next time when you go to a meeting, ask for the financial report, and find out what's going on and who is supporting it. Is the joker is not supporting the project you feel is positive for the future, for your children, then what are you going to do? Only way you know these things, you have to be active in your community. In the activity, I'm going back to it again, coming up the 26th, you got a big election all over. I mean, but I'm emphasizing the local election, where the Congress, Senate of the United States, I think that's going to be open here in Prince George County. Yeah, you have an opportunity to be active in that. All the candidates, I mean, check them out. Don't listen to somebody else tell you something, what's going to happen. Because what's going to happen, if you're not an educated voter, you lose. If you don't educate your children about the voting system, or how it works, this is an excellent opportunity of how jurisdictions can change all the rules in voting. Like I said earlier, you voted in the library one time, then they changed your vote. Did you get a notice on it? And next time it's in elementary school, or maybe City Hall, And if you don't lucky enough not get a notice, then you go down hippity and hop to vote, and they tell you, no, we changed the voting place. Or either you have to be a citizen for 90 years and have grown up in this county for at least 95. Hey, it sounds ridiculous, but that's what's happening. And here, this here shows you, it says Prince George's, a new way of voting. And this shows you basically illustrations of the changes that's going to be made. We start voting procedures on election day. Then you said, hey, I want to vote early. It tells you you have to vote by, you can early vote April 14th and April 22nd. The voting is the 26th. And they tell you the time too. You say, well, I don't think I'll go to work. Let's see, what time the polls open? Oh, the polls open at 7 o'clock. Okay, well, you're voting early. Now, if 14th to the 21st, then the polls open at 10. You say, what? I thought they opened at 7. You know why you didn't know? It's because you're not an educated voter. And you have to educate, make sure you educate your family, everybody, grandma, grandpa. I mean, you want to be counted. And if you're going to be counted, you got to participate. And bring the youngsters. This is what we need. They need to be educated early, how the system works and what happens when you don't participate in the system, and you don't count, and you don't participate when you don't vote. All you is a liability. You know what a liability is. You know, you're hoping somebody does something that's going to help you. A lot of voters that way, you know, they're too lazy to do their homework, so they let somebody else decide. Instead of taking the time, getting the background of the individuals that are running, get their idea. In fact, go down to their office and see how you're treated. You're going to be treated real nice because they're looking for workers. But the idea, then you go back and you do some research and you find out what the person stands for, what you stand for, what you want your children, and what you want the area to be like for your children. I mean, this is important. So they know that the system that we have here works different ways, different times, and sometimes it depends who you are. You know, if you in the 3%, in the 3% category, which most of us are not, then the system is very difficult for the system to work for you financially, because what you have to do, you have to get into the finance of this country. And getting into the finance, it takes, hey, schooling, all of that, you know. So don't forget, the 26th of April, you have a very, very important election. Then you have the presidential election come up. Do the homework on all of those people that are running, you know. Make sure that they stand for what you like. But they're not going to stand for all those things that you want to do, but majority of it. And make sure, this has been Ed Brown, you vote the 26th and the rest of the election. Every time they say election, put your hat and coat on, take the kids down and say, this is how you vote. This has been Ed Brown. Hey, this is commentary on voting here in the USA. See you next time. Don't forget, they set up an educational voting system in your house.